Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal number 1, and today we will be learning the expansion from unit 5 to 8, especially reading. And this lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Al-Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. Our objectives for today's lesson that we hope at the end of this lesson you will be able to apply different reading strategies and also identify new vocabulary items and answer questions based on the text. A quick revision on our last lesson. Last lesson we have different interesting exercises on page 72 and 73. One of those exercises was to write where things are in your house. So here we have a list of things, and all you have to do is just tell us where is this thing. So if it's one thing, you start your answer by there is, and if it's more than one thing, you start your answer by there are. And here we can see an example. Flowers, this is an example answer. Flowers, where are they? They are, or there are flowers in the garden. And the first one is television. Where is the television? Well, there is a television in the living room. This is for my house. And also the photos of the family in my house. We have photos of the family. There are photos of the family in my parents' room. And number 3, sofa. There is a sofa in my bedroom. And number 4, telephone. There is a telephone in the living room. And the last one, shelf. There are shelves in the kitchen. So here we have different things, different items. I have mentioned where are those items in my house. And also you should do the same. Also another exercise we have answered last time, which is exercise about giving directions. And here you have on page 72 a similar map to this. And all you have to do is just to use this map to give direction. For example, you are standing here at the Citibank, and you'll have a question like, I am at the Citibank, is there a good French restaurant near here? So starting from this point, you can say, for example, you go straight at the C Avenue and you turn left, and the French restaurant will be at the corner of Bank Street and B Avenue. And you can choose any place on the map, and you make your starting point from here, the Citibank, and you can have multiple answers. And don't forget to use those words, like for example, turn. You can say turn right or turn left. Also, another word you can use, which is go straight, not right, not left, just to go straight, and also to go to the corner. So here are words that may help you in answering or doing this exercise about giving directions. And also another interesting exercise, which is on page 73. We have two houses, two open houses like these, house number A and house number B, and we have different questions about them. The first one was just tell us what are the people doing and write 8 sentences. And here we have wrote a couple of sentences. For example, the sister in house A is studying. And number 5, the teen boy in house B is having a rest in his bedroom. So you can read those, and also you can have more. You can write more sentences about this. Also, another question about these two open houses was what are the things that we can see in those houses? For example, you can say, number 1, in house A, there are flowers on the table in the dining room. And number 5, in house B, there is a shower in the bathroom. So you can even write more or other sentences than these. Also, the last exercise we did on those two pictures was to try to write down the 8 differences between house A and house B. For example, tell us what if there is a thing, something that is in house A, not in house B, you just write it down. Here we have an example. In house A, there is a bathtub in the bathroom, but in house B, there is a shower in the bathroom. So here is an example that we have did last time about how can we make differences, or how can we find differences both in house A, between house A and house B. Today, we have a very interesting exercise. Would you please have a look at this text and tell me what kind of text is it? Is it a story, or is it an instructions, a list of instructions, or is it a mail? So if we're going to divide this text, we can see there we have a greeting, and we have a main text, and we have a closing, and also we have the signature. So what do you think? What kind of text is it? Is it a story, or an instructions, or a mail? Very good. This is a mail. As we learned from previous units, if we want to write mails or email, we must start with a greeting. For example, Hi Umar, or Dear Umar, or Hello Umar. So this is the sentences that we may use to as a greeting. And also here we have the main text. What do you mean by this? The main text is the main idea. What exactly we want to say in this mail, we put it here in the main text. Also we have closing. Closing is the kind of sentences that we wrote just to make the reader who read this mail to know that we are finishing, and that's it. We don't have anything more to say. And here signature, we always sign our names plus a simple expression. Like for example, take care, see you soon, best wishes, kind regards, so any kind of signature. So here we have, this is a mail, but we agreed it's a mail, but what kind of mail? Is it a written mail or an email? We still don't know. Let's try to scan this text and find out what kind of mail is it. So for example, if we're going to scan it, and as we learned last time, to scan a text is just to go through this text quickly and find similar words like mail or email, just to know what kind of mail is it. So we start from here, thanks for your email. So here you go. Here we have the word email. That means that this is an electronic mail sent by email to his friend. So now we have learned that this format or this writing represents a mail and not an email. It is an email. And later we're going to learn what exactly has Mark has written to Omar about this. Now, before we start, and since we're talking about emails, I have a couple of questions for you. The first one is, do you send emails to friends? For example, to your classmates or friends who live abroad? Because sometimes you may talk about your neighbor or talk about your city, and maybe you invite someone. So, do you write or do you send emails to a friend? And if you do, where are your friends from? So those friends that you send emails to, where are they from? Because it is important to know where are they from when you're sending an email. And also, do you write to them often? How many times do you write to your friends an email? This is a very important just to know, or from time to time to check them or to check about them when you send an email. And this is the most important question. What do you write about? What are the topics that interest you if you want to write to someone who lives abroad? For example, you may talk about your city, or as we did last time or previous units when we talk about our neighborhood, our unusual houses. So we have many topics we can think of when we want to send an email. So here are four important questions that you need to consider before we start this text. And regarding our text, I have here two pictures for you. I want you to have a look at those two pictures and tell me, what do you think Mark says in his email? So Mark sent an email to his friend Omar, and he attached those two photos. So What do you think Mark will talk about? So maybe from the first one, he will talk about sport. And for the second one, he will talk about birds, especially parrots. So let's listen, or let's have a look at Mark's email and find out what exactly Mark has to say to his friend Umar. So on page 74, you will see an email similar to this called Email Pals. Email Pals is the same as Pen Pals that we have learned before. Pen Pal is a friend who writes to his friend by hand, writing letter. And here we have Email Pals, the same idea, two friends sending to each other, but through email. So let's have a look at this email. Let's read it together. We're going to read it twice. The first time, I would like you to close your book and listen to me while I read this email. The second time, I would like you to open your book and follow with me while I read for the second time. So let's start. Hi Umar, thanks for your email. Here are some answers to your questions about me. I have a small family. There is just my father, my mother, and my sister. My sister's name is Kate, and she's 19 years old. She's at college. She's studying to be a doctor. My dad's a doctor too. I live in a small town about 1 hour from New York City by train. My neighborhood is nice and quiet, and we have everything we need right here. My school is only a couple of blocks from my house, and there is an enormous shopping mall near here. My friends and I hang out there often. I have a parrot. His name is Gabby. Do you have a pet? I play football on the local team. The name of the team is Square United. What's your favorite sport? Tell me more about your family, your town, and your interests. Take care, Mark. So now, would you please open your books on page 74 as I will read again, but this time you follow with me. Email Pals. Hi Umar, thanks for your email. Here are some answers to your questions about me. I have a small family. There is just my father, my mother, and my sister. My sister's name is Kate, and she is 19 years old. She's at college. She's studying to be a doctor. My dad's a doctor too. I live in a small town about 1 hour from New York City by train. My neighborhood is nice and quiet, and we have everything we need right here. My school is only a couple of blocks from my house, and there is an enormous shopping mall near here. My friends and I hang out there often. I have a parrot. His name is Gabby. Do you have a pet? I play football on the local team. The name of the team is Square United. What's your favorite sport? Tell me more about your family, your town, and your interests. Take care, Mark. So here we have read it for the second time. So Mark wrote to his friend Umar, and as we can see, Mark started by answering some of the questions that obviously Umar has sent before. And he said, yes, I have a small family, only my father, my mother, and my sister. And he also introduced their name. He said, my sister's name is Kate. She's 19 years old. And what does she do? She is studying at college. And she's studying to be a doctor. And his father is a doctor too. And also, he said, where does he live? Mark wrote in his email that I live in a small town that is only 1 hour from New York City by train. And he also talks about his neighborhood. He said, my neighborhood is nice and quiet, and only my school is only a couple of blocks from my house. And he has a shopping mall. Their neighborhood has a shopping mall, and they often hang out there with his friend. And also he said about what kind of pets that he has. He said, I have a parrot, and also he play football in the local team. So he conclude or close his email by asking Umar, tell me about your family and your town and also your interests, the things that you like. Here, while reading this email, we have a couple of interesting vocabulary or interesting words that we need to learn or to know what do they mean. So what does it mean? The first word we have is college. What do you mean by college? So usually a student like you, when you finish school, the intermediate school, the high school, after the high school you go to a college. This is as the last stop to study, and also the last studying, let's say, part in your studying life. And also the other word is enormous. When he says that we have enormous shopping mall, enormous means very big, very big, like a dinosaur. Dinosaur is enormous. So here he says we have enormous shopping mall. It means a mall that is very, very big. And also we have the other word, local team. Local means a team that is in the same city. This is what do you mean by local, the same city, and not to go to a team that is outside the city. So here we have three important vocabularies about this text that we have identified them just to understand the email even more. Now, couple of questions about the email. Here we have a 6 question, a yes or no question. Let's read those statements together and see if we agree with the statement, we answer with yes. If we don't, we answer with no. And also we will explain why we wrote no. So the first one is Mark's family is small. The second one, Mark's sister is studying to be a nurse. And the number 3, Mark lives in an apartment. And number 4, his school is far from his house. And number 5, the neighborhood doesn't have many stores. And number 6, Mark plays football in his free time. So now, let's read the first one and let's find out about the first one. Mark's family is small, and see if this statement is true or false. So going back to the text, and let's try to scan the text and to find a word that answers the question. Mark's family is small. So here we go. We can start from the first sentences, and here we go. We can find the word small. So here, yes, Mark's family is small. So we go back to the exercise and we write yes on the first statement. What about the second one? Mark's sister is studying to be a nurse. We'll go back to the text and scan it as well to find out if she is studying to be a nurse. So here we go. Here he talks about his father, his mother, and his sister. His sister name is Kate. She's 19 years old. She's at college and she's studying to be a doctor, not a nurse. So here we go back and we write no. Mark's sister is not studying to be a nurse. She's studying to be a doctor. This is the answer of number 2. Number 3, Mark lives in an apartment. Again, let's go back to the text and scan for an answer. So here we go, that he said, I live in a small town and my neighborhood is nice and we have everything we need. My school is only a couple of blocks from my house. So here we go. So Mark do not live or doesn't live in an apartment. He lives in a house. So we write with number 3, we write no. He lives in a house. Number 4. His school is far from his house. His school is far from his house. Now we will continue. My school is only a couple of blocks. A couple of blocks, that is not very far. So we will write no. His school is only a couple of blocks from his house. Number 5, the neighborhood doesn't have many stores. Let's go back and see where he talks about his neighborhood. He said that there is an enormous shopping mall near here. an enormous shopping mall? So we can answer this by saying no. Their neighborhood has, or there is a big shopping mall near his house. The last question we have is Mark plays football in his free time. So let's go back and say, scan the text again. So he says here, I play football on the local team. So this is correct. Yes, in his free time, Mark's play football with the local team of his city. And now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.